Hello. Welcome back to the Dohyo for the most exhilarating episode to date. We are diving back into the Shadow of Hakuho for his Yusho's number 16 and 17. Now from the sides, I'll throw!
Hakke-yoi!
Throw the salt, get in the ring. Welcome to the Dohyo!
Hello everybody and welcome back to the Dohyo in this wonderful and exciting and uncertain time of sport and life. We are all doing well here at Mr. J-Wag's channel, and we are all hoping you are doing well wherever you are watching from in the world. There is some new sumo news, of course. We have a Banzage that is going to be coming out very soon. But 6 more people in sumo have tested positive for the coronavirus today. So I'm pretty sure that even though they're not officially making the decision yet, we can all look forward to there not being any sumo in our near future. If the worst thing we have to do is give up a basho, let's do that, and we'll be fine. Today is another thrilling episode of the Dohyo, of course. We are exploring more of the Shadow of Hakuho, the alternate timeline where Hakuho never existed, and we go through all of his Yusho and assign them to other Rikishi. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, you should go back to episode 7 right now and learn all about the scoring system, the project, and what we're doing here. A sumo shout out to my friends over at Grand Sumo Breakdown. They invited me over to do some podcasting with them. So if you would like to listen to them, they are up now. There is one that is just about sort of the genesis of the Shadow of Hakuho project, and we go through some of the more controversial calls in the Shadow of Hakuho, so that's a must listen. And we have a new one up that is a historical review of Asashoryu, and we explore some scenarios that maybe if he hadn't been forced to retire, how many he might have won in absence of him being forced to retire. So please go check those out. All the information is going to be below me as I'm speaking and also down in the read more. So check out Grand Sumo Breakdown. It's a lot of fun. So now sit back and get ready for the most exciting episode ever of the Shadow of Hakuho. Our special backwards episode. Hakuho of Shadow, thee is this? Okay, that was probably a little bit confusing. I'm not going to be talking backwards the whole episode. We are going to be flipping the chronological order of these 2 basho, so it's just these 2. We're going to swap the order we're going over them in. Time still is going forward. All I am doing is discussing 2 basho flipped. So, we are doing this because of some unexpected, well not entirely unexpected news, but Toyonoshima, longtime Rikishi, he has retired. So, this one's for you, Toyonoshima. Yusho number 17, November 2010. Hakuho wins with a 14-1 record. Second place, Jun Yusho goes to Megashira 9 Toyonoshima, who also had a 14-1 record and lost in a playoff. The next closest Rikishi had 12 wins, Ozeki Kaio, and Megashira 14, Goeido. I gave this one to Toyonoshima in a lock. I have not been watching sumo long enough to really get a full feeling of your peak, as he has been around sumo since 2002. He's had a heck of a career. I was going to do a much deeper dive than I'm about to do, but you all, if you are interested in Toyonoshima and his amazing career, you should check out Chris Gould, who has a channel called Chris Sumo. He does an amazing sort of tribute to Toyonoshima, so we're going to have the link down there in the read more. For those of you who are watching this channel who aren't aware of Chris Sumo, go check out Chris Sumo. He had 71 matches in the Makuuchi division, including a handful up in the Sanyaku, 5 all the way up at Sekiwake, but he never achieved a Kachikoshi at that rank. So I don't think you could consider him a Sanyaku mainstay, but he was definitely a very, very respected Rikishi for over a decade. And including this one, he had 5 Jun Yusho, won 10 special prizes, and had 4 Kinboshi in his career, including one against Hakuho. Now here is where we start digging back into some things we've already covered in the Shadow of Hakuho. The Kotomitsuki gambling scandal once again reaches into our timeline. Toyonoshima had to take an entire tournament off because of suspension. He got bumped down to Juryo from Megashira 5. He ended up going 14-1 at Juryo 1, and then getting bumped up to Megashira 9. So essentially, we have a Megashira who has been showing the ability to bump up into the lower Sanyaku. Then what happens? He gets a tournament off. Then he gets a tournament to sort of bone up on the lower ranked guys. And then he gets a tournament at Megashira 9 coming back relatively rested, with his game on point, very fully tuned up, and still probably a little lower ranked than he was supposed to be. This is the perfect sort of recipe for a Tokushoryu surprise. And I think this would have been it, right down to the 14-1 record. Check out the Banzuke of the people he faced. This was not a reduced level Banzuke, or a Banzuke that was decimated with injuries. There were a lot of top level wrestlers who Toyonoshima beat in this tournament. He was very aggressively promoted down the stretch. He ended up beating Ozeki Baruto, then Sekiwake Kakuryu, Ozeki Kaio, and then Megashira 1 Kiseno Sato, before losing to Hakuho in a Day 15 playoff. And in case you're wondering what that looked like, here it is. His only loss was to Kyoku Tenho, a fellow Megashira. We've talked about him a little bit before in some of our free-for-alls earlier in the process, and later on he is going to have a very fascinating moment in his career where he ends up winning a basho, which we're going to talk about in just a little bit. Like I said, this one is a lock. Wacha! So I don't think there's really any debate that even though Kaio had a great run at Ozeki, and this was in fact the last time we are going to see him seriously mentioned, so let's all just pour a little one out for Kaio. If you don't know that much about Kaio, he has a fascinating career. Perhaps we will do a deep dive on him later. But as most sumo fans know, he holds the record for the most tournaments won without getting promoted to Yokozuna. This was also a notable tournament because this was the tournament where Hakuho lost his consecutive win streak to Kiseno Sato very early in the tournament. So I can imagine Hakuho was a bit vengeful and looking to take it out on everyone else in the Banzuke for the rest of that tournament. Alright, so now we have made time correct and right, and we're going to go fill in that one Yusho we haven't talked about. Yusho number 16. September 2010, Hakuho wins with a 15-0 perfect record. Second place Jun Yusho goes to Megashira 12 KAZE. The next highest record is 11 wins with Sekiwake Tochiozan and Megashira 11 KAZE. And at 10 wins, Ozeki Kotooshu, Megashira 14 Tamawashi, and Megashira 15 Gagamaru. I give this one to Sekiwake Tochiozan in a definite maybe. Tochiozan? Okay. I know KAZE has the Jun Yusho at 12 wins, but I think that we would all agree that we have 4 people in contention. KAZE, Tochiozan, Yoshikaze, and Kotooshu in serious contention. I don't have a lot of the lower Megashira guys who weren't facing aggressive schedules when they were already 2 wins behind. Oddly, in this tournament, we didn't get a lot of head-to-head action between these 4 wrestlers, because partially we had 2 of them up in the Sanyaku, and then 2 of them were down in the Megashira ranks, and the 2 in the Megashira ranks, KAZE and Yoshikaze, were in the same stable, and thus could not face each other outside of a playoff. Now, Kotooshu started very, very strong with an 8-0 record, but then went on to lose 5 of his last 7, including to 2 Megashira and Tochiozan. Now, he's already back there at 10 wins, so I have to cut him loose and say, Kotooshu, goodbye, I don't think we're going to involve you in this one anymore. Which leaves us with 2 Megashira and Tochiozan. Now, Tochiozan's been an interesting one this entire project. He's been on the fringes for a lot of these tournaments and for the several of the ones we're going to see. And I think that this is his best case for a Yusho. I think the question comes down to who is the better wrestler, and at this time in history, and just overall, I think Tochiozan was the better wrestler. Now, if you look at all of their careers on the Sumo reference page or on their Wikipedia pages, it will say their top rank is all Sekiwake. But there are some people who make Sekiwake a few times. There are some people who you might consider like Takeyume level Sekiwake, who held the rank for over a year, 2 years. Tochiozan spent 25 tournaments up in the Sanyaku, not consecutively, but he spent 11 at Sekiwake and 14 at Komusubi. Compare that with Yoshikaze, who only had 8 Sanyaku appearances, 4 at Komusubi, 4 at Sekiwake. Or Takekaze, who only had 1 tournament at Sekiwake and 2 at Komusubi, and one of those tournaments at Komusubi was him coming down from Sekiwake to Komusubi, and then going 2-13 at Komusubi. So I don't think he'd really want to keep that one on his sort of Sanyaku resume for him being a great Rikishi. Now, the Tochiozan, Takekaze, Yoshikaze head-to-head picture is fuzzy at best, because Takekaze and Yoshikaze, like I said, didn't face each other. And Tochiozan, when facing Yoshikaze, these guys all had sort of similar head-to-head records. It was just a question of who was hot when. They didn't necessarily face each other every tournament. And there's a case to say that, well, Takekaze won the 3 before, and Yoshikaze won the 3 before this tournament. But then Tochiozan went like on a long run where he beat Yoshikaze for a while. You can't say that in a playoff who would definitely have won this tournament. But I'm going to go with the resume on this one. I'm going to go with the wrestler I feel was wrestling best that tournament. I'm going to go with Tochiozan. I feel bad for Tochiozan. He is usually remembered as being sort of the other guy in matches for other people to sort of shine in. We were talking a little bit earlier about Kyoku Tenho and being involved in some of these projects. Kyoku Tenho ended up winning a tournament, and he ended up winning it at the expense of Tochiozan. They were both Megashira, faced off in a Day 15 playoff, and yeah, Kyoku Tenho ended up pulling out the very surprising Yusho. And Tochiozan also happened to be the guy on the Dohyo when Takeyume won his first basho in the Nagoya basho, the Nagoya hot basho, where they had no working air conditioning. Yes, that was Takeyume gently placing out Tochiozan and winning his first basho on Day 14. Tochiozan will appear here and there for the rest of the Shadow of Hakuho, but this is his only definite maybe, so we are going to salute him with a slow oh, Tachi-ai, because that is what he would want. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Dohyo. Be sure to check out Grand Sumo Breakdown and Chris Sumo. The links will be down below. We have new episodes in the hopper about Enho, and we have a new Shadow of Hakuho that is also in the works. So Kotoshokiku fans, get your baby blue mawashis ready. Come on back, we'll be here at the Dohyo!